11 rounds of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Championship have come and gone, and 4 winners have been crowned as well. Walker Fowler has captured his 6th straight GNCC title. As we roll into the hills of Indiana, the big question today is, will there be a 5th winner? And can last year's winner, Hunter Hart, rise to the occasion here today?
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Hello and welcome to America's premier off-road racing championship for the granddaddy of them all, the Ironman GNCC in Crawfordsville, Indiana. I'm Rodney Tomlin, and quite possibly one of the largest gathering of off-road competitors in the world, as we take a look at our race a couple of weeks ago at the Mason-Dixon GNCC round number 11. Walker Fowler able to capture championship number 6 on that day, but it wasn't without a fight, as the Bidwell Bullet and the young gun from Bidwell, Ohio, Bryson Neal, giving him fits there in the early going. And you can see not only was it the competition, but the course also giving lots of competition with those dry conditions. Very flumy dirt, if you will. It was almost talc powder going up those hills out there. So it was rather interesting to see how long your machine could roll. And not only was it a matter of speed, but also a matter of preservation and preparation. And there was no doubt that Bryson Neal had the speed on that day, as did Walker Fowler. But Fowler going into a little bit of a preservation mode there for a little bit, as the youngster from out of southeastern Ohio went on a tear. Walker Fowler stopping in the pits, actually about the midway point of the race, and snagging a new air filter. But young Bryson Neal opting not to do so in hopes of being able to stretch out that lead he had already amassed over the defending champion. And the gamble did not pay off, as Walker Fowler was able to regain the lead. Neal actually dropping all the way back and finishing 13th on the day. However, the other young gun of the Coltrane, Cole Richardson, was lurking in the background, was able to make the pass on Walker Fowler, and then began to stretch things out as he was able to capture his 2nd win of the 2020 season. Ironically, both wins coming right here to Matthews Farms, one at the High Point GNCC, the other here at the Mason-Dixon GNCC. Walker Fowler finishing 2nd, capturing the championship, with Adam McGill in 3rd, Hunter Hart in 4th, and Chris Borch rounded out the top 5. And we head down to the winner's circle, where we had a chance to catch up with Coltrane.
Yeah, we got off to a decent start, got dusted out a little bit. Chris had a good line on me and passed me, and I knew it was going to be a long day. It was kind of the same track as last year with the dust, and I knew on the last lap there we came from the back, but the motor ended up getting the kind of like vapor locking because the filter was so clogged, and we made our way, I think, back into 4th, and was pretty far down, and the bike felt great, I felt great, and we just kept charging. I knew my speed was there this race. We kept making up time, and we had some unfortunate stuff there towards the beginning with some riders getting out front, and had to work my way through them, and I guess long story short, Bryson had a filter problem, I think it was, and my bike was running good. We did really good filter prep, and the last lap there, we ended up kind of reeling in Walker, and it's kind of tempted to really keep going and just kind of push the limits of the filter, but really glad we switched it out, because it was pretty bad after one lap, and I think he ended up having a filter problem there towards the end. We was able to get in the lead and just kind of ride to the finish.
Well, congratulations to the young Coltrane, Cole Richardson, taking his 2nd win of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Series. And, of course, as we get set to roll here at the penultimate round, normally the final round of the 2020 season, and our pink race as we celebrate breast cancer awareness. Ricky Towery waving the green flag on this XC1 Pro class in our all balls, bearings, and components whole shot. And we are minus Walker Fowler if you're looking for that number 1 today. Going to be sitting this one out as the number 2 of Bryson Neal, who sits 2nd in points right now. 2 wins on the season. He has credit for a couple of others that he could have or should have won, but came up a little short due to some mechanical issues or miscalculations, but heading into the woods with a nice little lead in this one. Bryson Neal over the number 3 75-time winner and 6-time GNCC champion, Phoenix Racing Honda ride of Chris Borge back there in the number 3 position. That's Cole Richardson, it looks like. And was that the number 11, I believe, of Josh Merritt, also in a top 5 position, as the green flag waves on the XC2 Pro-Am class now. This one right here has been a barn burner all season. You see a couple of guys getting together out there and going out wide. That looked like Noah Mickelson might have been involved in that, but there is the 714 of Ronnie Rush. Wyatt Wilkin going to get the early lead in this one, though, aboard the 621 machine. This is another rider that is more than capable of taking a win in this XC2 Pro-Am class, and this was always a fun one to watch when you're there at the races as they head into the woods in that one. Big question again is, will we see a 5th winner quite possibly here today, or will Bryson Neal keep command and control? Coverage of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Series on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized Turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready. And by Yamaha. Revs your heart. Welcome back to GNCC on MAVTV. We're just outside of Crawfordsville, Indiana, at the Shaver Family Farm, and check out that blast from the past, the twin 350 Yamaha, the Banshee, the one that, began a lot of careers for many of the riders that have pioneered our way to the, the present of what we're seeing right now. What we're seeing right now is a little Ironman heel action the first time up. As you can see, the leaves are still on that with Bryson Neal still out front of this one. We've got a new second place ride, and there is the number 11 of Josh Merritt in that number 4 position. As we said, we've seen him move up, and that is Jared Mcclure back in the number 2 position on board the number 5 machine. So Sneaky Snake is not, he's not taking any chances here early on today. He is trying to strike early on, and look at this, a new 4th place ride at the FMF PowerPoint. That is the number 7 in last year's winner here at Ironman GNCC, Hunter Hart. So he's up to 4th. Mcclure still in that number 2 spot, trying to lay chase to the number 2 of Bryson Neal, who's leading this one. There's Hart now up to the number 3 spot. This youngster is certainly on a mission today, and look at the track that he is riding as opposed to the track that other riders are riding out there. Don't know if you caught that or not, but he was kind of like about 6-8 inches over. Actually, he was riding with his front wheel in the center lane and on the outside lane. Man, Bryson Neal is earning that nickname again, the Bullet, still weaving through the trees out here like a man on a mission. As we look back to the number 2 spot, we've got a change back here again, and this looks like it is the number 4 now of Cole Richardson up to the number 2 spot. There is the number 5 of Jared Mcclure now in the number 3 position, and now to 4th place is the young Hunter Hart. So a lot of things taking place out there. A long race course we've got out here today, some 13 plus miles of terrain for these riders to traverse, and we can see it's in pretty good condition. We've got a mixture of tight trees. We got some open trees and open woods, open fields. We've got some hill climbs, got some creek crossings, a little bit of everything for everyone out here. And the great thing about it is there are a lot of riders out on the trail as well, so it is more obstacles that we are seeing unearthed as each lap progresses here, as it traditionally does at the Ironman GNCC. Look at this. Mcclure's now dropped off to the number 4 spot as the youngster Hunter Hart, last year's race winner, is on a mission, it looks like, today. And the neat thing about all this is right now, 3 of our top rising stars are now running 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. You got Bryson Neal in 1st, Cole Richardson 2nd, and the number 7 of Hunter Hart back in the number 3 position. And Hunter's hoping to make it a 5th winner here this year. We've already seen 4 different winners with Walker Fowler, Bryson Neal, Cole Richardson, and Adam McGill. So could we see a 5th winner here today? I know that if this rider right here has anything to say about it, that will not be the case, and he's thinking he should have 2 more. Will he have this one today? Stick around to find out. GNCC continues after this. Welcome back to GNCC on MAVTV, the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC, as we race for the cure here today. Of course, traditionally, each and every Halloween weekend, late October, as it is once again. And there is Bryson Neal making his way down and around and through some of these lower-lying areas of the Shaver family farm in Montgomery County, Indiana. Looks like he's amassed a pretty good lead here as well. I think we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of about 15 or so seconds, maybe even pushing closer to 20 seconds. Look like the number 4 of Cole Richardson pushing himself there early in the race has kind of settled into a pace right now, but also it looks like that Bryson Neal has settled into a pace, but a rather quick pace as we check back in with him a little further up course here and heading into the pits. Will he take the pit stop here today? You know, a couple of weeks ago in the last couple of rounds, it's been an issue of dust. Today is not an issue as far as dust and air filters are concerned. It's going to be about keeping yourself hydrated and keeping your machine, I guess, fueled up, and that's exactly what happens. A new fresh pair of goggles for the number 2 of Bryson Neal. Quick drink and for him and for the machine, and he is off and rolling now as he is starting to amass quite a bit of a lead, some 20-plus seconds now. And on to the world-famous Ironman motocross track that has become kind of famous in its own rights on the two-wheel side of things as far as AMA Pro Motocross and AMA Pro ATV Motocross is concerned. There's your second-place ride of Cole Richardson. As we said, that gap is starting to open up quite a bit, and you can tell how far the riders are apart now as there is second place rolling by, and our third place rider even a little further back. I believe we're looking at some 40 seconds now back to the third place position of Hunter Hart. So for the number 7 to pull off the near impossible here today, he's going to have to hope for a few things to happen, like mechanical issues or quite possibly a bottleneck. And let me tell you, folks, it's not out of the realm of possibility by no stretch of the imagination. So just because we say that and that gap is really starting to open up, don't think that it's not possible for things to change. And especially in these types of conditions, anything can happen out there. Even though we've got a nice big wide racetrack, there's a lot of riders, a lot of lap traffic, so a lot of variables, if you will. It almost looks like that the number 4 machine is starting to close that gap back up. That was a lapped rider that we're looking at there. Now, I think we're starting to see that now in the neighborhood of about 30 seconds. This is actually a little larger than what we've seen so far today. So between first and second, starting to open up quite a bit, amassing a little bit of real estate and a little bit of breathing room there for your leader of Bryson Neal. But as we know, anytime that you've got Cole Richardson back there in the number 2 spot, you can never rest too easily because he can strike at any given time. Man, look at that machine work. Talk about flawlessness. Both man and machine are tuned to peak performance here late in the season. You can say the same thing about Cole Richardson as well, as that machine dances around out there, but momentum keeping it rolling forward. It's good suspension, good components that make this work. And one thing to point out about Cole Richardson, he's gone the extra mile. Actually painted the front bumper pink out there to give it that pink look. There, obviously, we see the pink background by all of our riders in the XC1 Pro class today. That pink background replaced by the red background, that is showing their support of breast cancer awareness. It is our philanthropy here for the folks in Montgomery County, Crawfordsville, Indiana, as we do a lot of fundraisers, and several $1,000s are raised for local organizations to help out, as well as the Montgomery County Free Clinic. And there goes the number 2 of Bryson Neal as he is rolling through with what looks to be a pretty comfortable lead, but things are starting to tighten back up just a little bit as Cole Richardson's picking up the pace some and starting to bridge that gap. So the big question is, it looks like we're now going to go a 5-lap race. These lap times are not nearly as long as what one would have expected, especially with the length of the course, but nonetheless, it is going to warrant a 5-lap race to give us that 2-hour race that we always race for here in GNCC racing. Looks like second place rider Cole Richardson caught up behind some lap traffic. That could have been what helped bridge that gap a little bit between he and the number 2 machine, and now he has found some lap traffic of his own that may give the number 2 machine of Bryson Neal a chance to stretch things back out. With less than 2 to go, Neal leading Richardson, Hart, Mcclure, and John Glotta Jr. We're back after this.
Coverage of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Series on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized Turbo E-Bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. And by Yamaha, revs your heart.
And welcome back to the Shaver Family Farm just outside of Crawfordsville, Indiana for round number 12 of GNCC racing here. -1 Walker Fowler, who has gained his 6th championship. Minus today, not because of the tip of his finger that he cut off, but because of some concussion issues. He wants to give that time to heal up before next season, so he will be sitting out the final 2 rounds. Meanwhile, looks like the number 2 of Bryson Neal has taken full advantage and control of the situation, but he had a lot of control of the situation before Fowler even opted out of this one. Before the summer break, we were seeing lots of big things out of him, and since the summer break has really been rolling. There's 2 events that he should have likely won, but come up a little bit short due to mechanical issues, broken machine, maybe a clogged filter here and there. Well, that's the way the old cookie crumbles, as we said at the beginning of this broadcast. Preservation is a part of it as much as anything. Hunter Hart still back in that number 3 spot, but look at this. Jared Mcclure, the sneaky snake, maybe about ready to give the youngster a lesson here in the closing moments of this 2020 Ironman GNCC, and that's exactly what he does as he makes the pass on the number 7 of Hunter Hart, now dropping off to the number 4 spot. So anybody that has the number 5 of Jared Mcclure on their back tire in the final and closing laps of the race are always a little bit nervous, even if you are anyone like Walker Fowler, Bryson Neal, Cole Richardson, or even back in the day Chris Borch and the guys, because he didn't earn the nickname Sneaky Snake by any old stretch of the imagination. He would sneak up, lay in wait, and just strike at the last moments and take wins. But it's not going to happen here today. This rider right here on his way to the win. Jared Mcclure, though, does round out the podium on this one, it looks like, if he can hang on to it to the checker flags. And speaking checker flag, to his 4th win of his career and win number 3 of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Championship season. The youngster from Bidwell, Ohio, winding his way through the final turns and over the finish line for the win with a fist pump to the air. Win number 3 of the 2020 season for this youngster, and you can tell by the big smile on his face he's hoping that's just win number 4 now in his career of many, many more to come. Let's head on down to the winner's circle.
Yeah, you know, a lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas. You know, this should be technically, I guess, 4 in a row, but we was winning the other 2 we broke down on. But you know what? We're just happy to be able to get up here and get some wins. This is the first time in a whole season I've got 3 wins or multiple wins, and first time I got back-to-back hole shots. My first hole shot of my pro career was last weekend, and then I got another one today. You know, things are working good for us. I got a really good crew around me, and I'm just super fortunate just to be able to keep riding like I am. And man, 2021, we're just going to try to take it to the winner and keep on it and try to come out next year with the same fire.
Well, talk about being in the zone. Bryson Neal has found the zone. Another rider that's not far out of that zone, Cole Richardson, finishing up in the number 2 spot as we head down to talk with him.
Yeah, you know, I can't complain with a second. You know, last few years here, I don't think I podiumed, you know, since 2015 when I moved to XC1 for my last race. So, you know, I'm definitely pumped to be on the podium. We've had some bad luck here, and, you know, me and Bryson are real close in points, and the last thing I wanted was for him to get the start and me to be in the back, and, you know, that's what happened. So, you know, we tried to run him down, tried to make some quick work the first lap and make up some time, but, you know, the track was just so fast. You know, one little mistake would cost you a lot of time, but it was really hard to make it up. So, you know, right after I pitted there on the second lap, I don't know what happened to the bike. We had some little mishap where it started to sputter and kind of shut off on me out in the field. And, you know, we just started to close the gap a little more at that point and pretty much lost it all again and tried to close it back up. And pretty much seemed like we were 15 to 20 seconds the entire time, and I'm sure Bryson probably said it. I don't think we could have rode the track any faster.
Well, the championship is wrapped up, but with one more round to go, you know there's a lot of excitement still in the air as Bryson Neal takes the win here today. Cole Richardson second, Jared Mcclure third, Hunter Hart in fourth, John Galata Jr., the rookie, rounding out the top five.
Yeah, had a pretty good start here today. The Dirtworks 24-volt kit got me out front there. I was behind Bryson and was feeling pretty good. Bike was working awesome. Elka Texera stuff was dialed, and you know, he just had a really good pace going. I hung with him about half that first lap, and then he slowly started inching on me, and you know, I felt like he was getting away from me, and then Cole caught up to me. I let him by, tried to hang on to him, and you know, he was rolling too, so it just was a little off pace there in the beginning, and ended up, Hunter came up, and me and him kind of went back and forth a little bit throughout the day, and then last lap going into the hill climb there, he got cross-rode it and ended up sticking it into the bank, and I snuck by him there. So, like I said, just struggled a little bit early on, but picked it up the last 2 laps, and happy to get up here. Been a while since I've been on the box, so it feels good.
Strong ride for Jared Mcclure as we take a look at the specialized race recap. As the green flag flew on this one, we saw a good jump off the line there by the number 2 of Bryson Neal was Chris Borch back in the number 2 position. Looks like Jared Mcclure also in a top 3 or 4 start up the Ironman hill the first time. No one been up that one all weekend long so far, so plenty of leaves and lots of hidden obstacles, but all of our riders making their way up, including there in the early part of the race in 4th place, the number 11 of Josh Merritt. But early on, it was your number 2, Bryson Neal, and as the race wore on, it continued to be the same. I don't think anyone was any closer than 10 seconds at any point, which would have been this rider right here early in the race. And then a couple of points, it seemed like he was getting in touch with him there about the midway point, but Bryson Neal put the hammer down, used that lap traffic to his advantage, was able to put the distance between he and Cole Richardson. Richardson settling into a solid and strong pace in the number 2 position out there. And meanwhile, the battle was starting to heat up for the number 3 spot. It was the number 7 of last year's winner, and of course the sophomore of Hunter Hart. He gets stuck sideways on the Ironman hill out there, and of course that allows Jared Mcclure to go by. Mcclure takes over the 3rd place position and holds on to it to the finish line. Meanwhile, up front, it was the number 2 of Bryson Neal taking his first Ironman GNCC win, his 3rd win of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country season. And congratulations also going out to Austin Abney on capturing the XC2 GNCC Championship title at the Ironman as well. That's going to wrap things up. I'm Rodney Tomlin. Have a great day, everybody.